going to square Bloomberg's checkered past of public comments with the fact that he's buying the presidency. Did you hear what he said about farmers?
Yep. Yes.
It's amazing what this guy's gotten away with.
He simplified it, didn't he?
Yeah. He was speaking at the University of Oxford in 2016 at the Syed Business School. He was asked if Americans living on the coasts, who are generally more liberal, really, could be unified with those who live in middle America, who are generally more conservative. In response, Bloomberg implied that anyone could be a farmer because it requires a low level of intelligence to be successful.
Wow.
I could teach anybody, even in this room, no offense, how to be a farmer. You dig a hole, you put a seed in, you put dirt on top, add water, up comes the corn.
It's that easy.
Bam.
It's that easy.
You could learn that. Then we had 300 years of the industrial society. You put the piece of metal on the lathe, you turn the crank in the direction of the arrow, and you can have a job. And we created a lot of jobs. At one point, 98% of the world worked in agriculture. Today, it's 2% in the United States. Now comes the information economy, and the information economy is fundamentally different because it's built around replacing people with technology, and the skill sets that you have to learn are how to think and analyze, and that is a whole degree level different. You have to have a different skill set. You have to have a lot more gray matter than to be a farmer, in other words. And there was a great tweet about someone said, well, apparently somebody forgot to water Bloomberg. Get it? He didn't grow very tall.
All the way.
Yeah.
You know, he was just in Minnesota, what was it, a month or so ago?
Up at a farm.
And he went to a farm, and he was shocked and amazed at everything the farmers showed him. If I remember right, it might have been his very first visit to a farm, and he visited a really big farm.
But he's no more out of touch with regular folk than anybody else seeking the Democratic nomination.
That's true.
They're all out of touch.
That's true.
I mean, this is exactly why it's going to be a landslide in November.
Well, you know what? Here we are I am defending Klobuchar again, but I don't think you could say that about Klobes. I think she probably knows what goes down at a farm. I would assume so.
Well, she's
anyway.
from the Iron Range.
Well,
I can't think of many things that might be more difficult than running a successful farm.
Oh, my God, I can't imagine.
Especially in 2020.
We're losing a farmer to suicide at least every day in Wisconsin.
It's just dreadful. It's just dreadful.
That's how
I did not
heavily.
know that.
Oh, yeah.
This guy has
it's
said.
tough.
This guy has said black and Hispanic males don't know how to behave in the workplace.
Oh, boy.
He's had his troubles with
Women.
offending women. How are these frauds going to accept him? How are these frauds not going to point all that out?
As I was leaving my house today, The View was on the television.
Why do you do this to me?
And no, Meghan McCain was challenging Joy Behar on that same thing because Joy was defending Michael Bloomberg, and she said, "How can you defend?" And Joy just overlooked it because she said some stupid. So they're not playing fair. They will not take him on for what his word was, and they'll just let it go.
That's a dirt alert.
I didn't say I was sitting there watching it.
What is that normally out of character for Joy on that show?
Yeah, very much so. She, normally would not defend that extent, and when Whoopi jumps in, it's
Well,
all hell breaks
Joe,
loose.
him running is just solely to satisfy his ego, isn't it?
Well, yes, and he's buying it.
Well,
He's got the
and so
money
are
to
the
buy
Democrats.
it.
You know, we talked about that off the air, and I don't see what the big deal is because they're all buying it.
Yeah.
The only difference is it's coming out of his pocket exclusively.
Well, that would signal your idea then that he's doing it for his own ego.
Yeah.
He has everything else to spend money on anymore.
Right.
He hates Trump too, I think.
Yeah.
So that's part of the ego thing.
Well,
He
they're
wants
all
to-
united in that.
Yeah,
They're
he
all
wants-
united. That's
Yeah,
pretty much
I think
what they
he
have.
takes it personal though because of the New York connection. It's
But-
like a cage match.
But
right?
at this
Right.
point, you're trying to see, if you being the Democrats, you're just simply trying to see who could put the biggest dent into the vote for Trump. And it ain't going to be Bernie. It ain't going to be Biden. It's not going to be Amy. So it's probably going to be Bloomberg.
There has to be a candidate that the Democrats, all finally, when push comes to shove, say, I'm going to have to swallow my Democratic pride and go with Bernie or go with whoever it is.
A communist would not be better than Trump. Bernie would not be better than
No,
Trump.
I don't think any of them have a chance to beat him.
There's an
to beat
interesting
Trump.
editorial in today's Star Tribune saying that we already live in a
I saw
socialist
that.
society.
Yeah. Well, by a school teacher, by the way. So, I didn't give it a lot of I didn't give it a lot of credence. Say, I got a lot of Grunhofer mentions today in the emails, but Anna from Alameda, she's one of our fans, Anna Tyrell from Alameda.
Yeah.
She says, I've not heard this mentioned from Grunhofers. They're breakfast sausage. My grandson Mark was with us all this weekend, so I served them on Sunday. They are as big as the bratwurst with pork, bacon, potato, and cheese. There may be other goodies inside, but these are the ones I remember. So, yeah, of course, Grunhofer's Old-Fashioned Meats has breakfast sausage.
So the breakfast sausage is the size of a bratwurst?
Great big bangers.
Oh, my God.
Great big bangers. Is that what the Brits call them?
Yeah, bangers and mash.
Bangers and mash.
Only I've had bangers, and I've had them in the UK.
I'll bet you have.
And I'm going to take Spencer over anything I find in London. You got what I'm saying?
I bet you've had your share of gherkins, too.
I have.
Some would say that at one time you were a banger.
Yeah. Well, I hit the drums.
Exactly. That's what I meant.
Okay, Grunhofer's
It was
Old-Fashioned
just
Meats
like that, too.
at the north end of
My
Hugo
wrist hurts.
on Highway 61, which has become the Garage Logician's go-to place for every imaginable meat need you have, including breakfast sausage, we now learn. Breakfast. Doesn't that sound good? Doesn't that sound good?
Shall we?
With
14
a nice Bloody Mary.
14 kinds of summer sausage, pre-made oven-ready meatloaf, rookie burgers, ribeye burgers, ham, bacon, salmon. The list is endless. Whatever you want if they don't have meat that you want, you don't need it.
That's right.
You know,
And you've never even heard of
They've
it.
chosen for you.
we see and hear from Anna so much. I'm kind of peeved that we need to include her on the list. When she's going to Grunhofer's, she's got to pick up for
Think
all
so?
of us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you think so?
and probably buy for us.
Get with the program here, Terrell.
Yeah. Anyway, you all know where it is. It's the best. And hey, this weekend, near 40 degrees.
Yeah.
You grilled last night, John.
I did.
In a snowstorm.
In a snowstorm,
In
I
a
grilled.
snowstorm. So there'll be grilling this weekend. Get everything you need at Grunhofer's Old-Fashioned Meats at the north end of Hugo on Highway 61.
This next song is one we're gonna play because of Trigger and Kenny and Bob.
Big backyard.
University of Garage Logic, 98. College of Self-Esteem, zip, nada, nothing. Here's Joe Soucheray.
I think they wrote this song the morning of this performance.
Really?
That's how these guys
Sounds
used to
like
work.
it.
That's so cool.
They were really good musicians and a lot of fun.
Where was this at, Kenny, again? Remind me?
This was at the Caboose
Nice.
in the early 90s.
Nice.
Here's John Haidt.
Thank you, Joe. Quick sports note. The Twins have announced the first 30 theme nights for the 2020 season.
Oh, boy.
Some of the first new theme nights include First Avenue Night. That'll celebrate the team's downtown Minneapolis neighbor in the 50th year of the famed music venue. Other new ones for this year, Sesame Street Day and Friends Night. Friends as in the TV show. Other returning theme games include a game celebrating 9 local colleges and universities, also other sports franchises like the Wild, pop culture gatherings for Star Wars, Margaritaville, the Grateful Dead, the Women and Baseball Series, and fundraising efforts for Cancer Awareness Night and Love Your Melon Night. You can check out a full list of the theme nights at twinsbaseball.com.
Yeah, whatever.
We're really trying to market baseball to people who have no interest in baseball.
I will give them credit, though. I didn't understand the college-themed nights, but the hats they do are cool for those particular
Explain
nights.
to me then Grateful Dead Night.
They're going to have a baseball hat with a Minnesota Twins and Grateful Dead theme mixed together. I don't know what that'll be.
Oddest thing
but
I've ever
it's just
heard.
Gross.
2 tennis shoes and a dryer.
No, pair.
Are
Two
they
pair.
handing out free tabs of LSD and shirts that haven't been washed in 20 years?
Are you reminding me? I got to text Baracey and Lavelle. They need to get me one of those spring training hats.
The
Sandals and socks and dirty underwear,
in news,
Ashtray floors,
dirty
dirty
clothes,
filthy jokes.
something like that.
In news, let's start first with the weather. The State Patrol said there were 168 crashes, 174 spinouts. That was last night from 4 to 9 p.m., another 208 crashes and 155 spinouts from 9:30 p.m. to 9 a.m. Tuesday. Altogether, that means there was more than 700 total crashes and spinouts reported in 17 and a half hours. That equates to about 40 traffic incidents per hour during that time period. Depending on where you lived, you could have gotten up to 10.5 inches of snow. New Ulm area got that. And as you moved north, there was less snow.
New Ulm. And the National Weather Service was saying there was a strange pocket that just kind of sat over New Ulm.
UFO.
Yeah, and they got a lot of it. Today's the morning rush was blasphemous. It was just
I tell you, I tried to
awful.
get to the bank.
And it didn't work out for you.
And that traffic was so bad, I
What
turned
happened?
around. I gave up.
Oh, it was an ice skating rink.
Gave up. It was
awful.
terrible.
Yeah.
There was, when I drove into work today, this was I've never seen this on Territorial, our side road here. There was a car that looked like obviously it had just been in a crash, sitting in the middle of the road. The airbag was out, but there were no human beings around. There was no police cars, and there were no tow trucks.
You know what that is?
I
you?
don't know.
It was probably a stolen car.
Oh, I was going to suspect it was someone.
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah, or
but
drinking and
something
driving.
hit him.
I love
So
when you're
that-
driving along and you just see an entire fender laying there.
Yeah,
what do you-
that'll happen.
They left the scene and said, "The fender."
How the hell with it?
Screw it.
The hell
What I
with
don't
it.
get,
get by.
is the people that leave their bumper there or their bumper cover and they leave their license plate there.
Yeah,
And
I've seen that.
I think I'd grab my plate.
Yeah,
I'm
grab
just
the
one of
plate
those
for you.
nerds.
Believe
where-
me, they would not have the means to grab their plate.
You're right. You're right.
St. Paul police said a brutal attack Saturday afternoon in Frogtown could have turned out a lot worse after assailants stole a car that still had 2 young children inside it. Investigators said a man who lives on the corner of Virginia Avenue and Sherburne Street was putting his children inside his van when a group of teenagers assaulted him, took his wallet and keys, and then drove away in the van with an 8-year-old boy and his 1-year-old sister still inside. The man, who wishes to go only by the name of Alex, told our TV folks, 5 Eyewitness News, the attack happened very quickly. He says he's happy his 2 kids are doing fine, and 7 juveniles have now been arrested in connection with the assault. He said, I just remember getting the kids in the van, and all of a sudden one guy clotheslined me across my throat.
Jeez.
I went down, and several people then were kicking and punching me, stole my wallet and keys, and drove off with the kids inside.
They don't even give them a chance. It's just instant violence.
Alex
And they're 15 and 16.
Right.
Yep. Alex said one of the attackers who was driving the van stopped at the intersection and hopped into another car and sped off with several other suspects, where they were eventually apprehended at a nearby Target store. He said the assault was traumatic, but nothing compared to seeing the van drive off with my kids inside. Very grateful to St. Paul Police for their quick response. The St. Paul Police said all 7 suspects arrested are between the ages of 15 and 16.
Time to lower the
years
age.
old.
Time to lower the age
It
for these
doesn't.
criminals.
It doesn't matter, Rook. Either way, they're going to be on the street. You know, right now.
True.
They're back at it right now.
No, this is going to be taken care of. We're going to have ambassadors.
Yep.
We have 20 cabinet members. We're going to redesign public spaces
What
to
about
make them more welcoming.
Gotta give them some money
We're
at
going
the
to give you
birth.
some money, yeah.
I need some advice from you, Such, and you, Matthew, a friend of the show, Naomi. She lives in Fargo, wants to come down for the visit. She used to live here. However, now she's worried about her own safety. Would you say come ahead? Or
Come
would you
on
say
down. Just don't ride light rail.
that's the best you can do for her?
Well, where does she want to go?
St. Paul, your whole city is an asshole.
No, there's plenty of areas where she's going to be completely fine.
Name one. Highland? No.
No.
Highland, you got the rapist on the corner right by Highland Village propositioning minors after he got out of prison for
7th Street?
rape, 22 years.
Yeah.
Some mom confronted him.
Cathedral Hill.
Cathedral Hill.
She'll be all right.
Downtown?
Selby,
7th Street.
and Cathedral Hill.
Yeah.
Downtown.
Summit?
Fine.
Summit,
Grand
you're
Avenue.
probably okay. Grand Avenue and Macrovan, yes.
Naomi, if I were you, I'd stay in Fargo.
Okay, the guy has answered.
Just go shack up with the Soucherays.
No, I can't.
Oh,
We're
Yeah,
tied
they're
up.
over there
You
on
got a
Main.
spare bedroom
They're on
over there,
Main.
don't you? You got
123 Main.
You got
We're
a
on Main
pond or
Street.
something?
We got a
She
pond.
was-
Pond would be good for you.
Just look for the birds flying into the windows.
Speaking of crime, the GOP minority in the Minnesota House announced a slate of bills Monday aimed at reducing rising violent crime in Minneapolis and St. Paul and on the Metro Transit system, drawing a sharp retort from Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry.
He was in the crowd.
Urban crime is already developing into an issue for the 2020 election campaign in Minnesota. House Minority Leader Kurt Dowd of Crown and another Republican leader said at a news conference, it's not just a concern for Minneapolis and St. Paul residents. Dowd said, we all represent constituents who travel to the cities to visit family, friends, who work, who go to sporting events, who go to concerts, and they all worry about their safety.
This is just what we talked about. Brilliant.
The proposals, that's what I do, Kenny.
It's just, you amaze me.
Thanks, Kenny.
Sometimes.
And how
console.
are the